I'm allowed by law self-defence to protect him.
Necessity.
If he pushes him again,
it's a line of defence.
I will jump in as on the basis of self-defence.
Just shoved him, walked straight through, Lord Muck, typical bloody fascist pig, and shoved him out of the way as if he was nothing. He's in the public domain, he's entitled to be where he's standing.
Where he's going to do?
No problem.
Cannabis, the cause of civil unrest and political debate.
To arrest anybody.
He wants to be arrested, so I'll give it to me. So now I'm getting arrested too?
Excuse me a minute. Let's have a look at that, please.
Don't take that off medicine off of the patient. That's out of order. No, I'm not.
Well, I think it is a gateway drug if it remains prohibited and sold by the same people that sell the harder drugs.
It is integrated in our society. We've got 8 million users or whatever. It is a normal part of British life.
Cannabis has traditionally been used to criminalise black people, particularly young black males. I mean, it's a way in which the police can justify stopping them, searching them, and actually often bringing them into the criminal justice system on something else. You know, it's a way in which they kind of go in.
Cannabis and police don't really mix, so I just make sure that they don't get too close together.
It is about freedom. Do we have the right to choose?
Smoking a joint less than the quantity that the MEP walked in with, and they simply arrest him.
For some, a social pastime.
Kind of contentment. That's probably the nearest you can get to Nirvana.
That is a totally holistic high, and your whole body just...
I smoke cannabis because I like cannabis, and that's all there is to it.
I think marijuana is one tool of the world peace.
For others, an alternative pain relief.
I was told about it by another MS sufferer, and I tried it, and it actually worked.
In other words, there are a lot of people with phantom limb pain for which there aren't really any effective drug treatments.
Some of them worked to a degree, but the side effects were horrendous, and I couldn't function as a human being. Which with cannabis, as a daily use, I can function as a human being.
It challenges moral ethics and pharmaceutical control.
Yes, our main source was this material, which actually was National Health Service cannabis, because when I first started work, believe it or not, in the late 60s, cannabis was actually a legal medicine. But I do know that it was about 1972 when it was banned as a medicine.
Many have championed calls for its legalisation, sacrificing their liberty for their beliefs.
I jumped a dog, a drugs dog, so could I ask you to leave, please?
Don't mind, whatever you say.
The only thing I'm obliged to give you, Mr. Ditchfield, is a copy of the search warrant, which I've actually ticked as handed to the occupiers of the unit. Okay, thank you very much.
Good luck, Jeff.
British laws governing cannabis have constantly changed over the past decade, creating confusion and misunderstanding.
I just said I understand I can buy some cannabis here today, is that true?
Don't know, sir.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Well,
where we have the highest rates of drug use and drug abuse in Western Europe, and the Home Secretary decided bravely and not before time that we needed to liberalise the laws.
Lambeth on the 2nd of July are starting a new policy which is about hopefully arresting fewer people for cannabis off the street.
The law as it stands is that if people are in possession or smoking cannabis, it's an offence and they will be arrested.
I don't think it's a particularly easy day. I think officers who spent 20 to 30 years arresting people for possession of cannabis may find it slightly strange to walk past people openly smoking.
Cannabis is a great healer and they don't want that out there, but they can't stop it.
Now, a cannabinoid-based drug is available on the NHS after a nearly 30-year absence, arguably proving the wronged right. All plants were put onto the earth for the good of mankind, but at what cost? Green Britain the Battle captures a moment in time when the impossible seemed possible. It follows the story of Chris Baldwin. Handicapped at an early age, he decided to challenge the United Kingdom's policy on cannabis.
So I want the government to be supplying medical cannabis, and I want them to be supplying it and prescription free of charge for people. What I'd really like to do is run a coffee shop.
Helped by Noel van Schaik, a Dutch coffee shop owner and activist, he set out to open a marijuana social club in Worthing, West Sussex, after having been inspired by a similar venture in Stockport 1 year earlier. A medical user himself, he also provided high-quality, low-price cannabis to over 80 medical patients.
Something like 28 now with multiple sclerosis, about 3 with ankylosing spondylitis, rheumatoid arthritis, glaucoma, various spastic conditions, back injuries, all sorts of things like that helps.
The film begins in 2002.
I think you'll find that if I try this key and this lock, we may actually just get in. How about that? Right, here we go. The tour starts from here. This place was an absolute shithole. Can I say shithole, Paul? The walls were quite damp. We still got to treat a bit, and there was little withered dead fish laying in the corners, and it stank a bit. We have to put this final panelling up here, and this is a doorway. It's going to be a very small shop, but then again, we're not going to fill it up with loads of cheap, shitty plastic bongs. But the main reasons for bong chuffer are a front for the coffee shop and a lookout point for the coffee shop. Now, the day that will inevitably happen, when the police come through that door with a warrant, I simply throw the switch, put the white lights on, and everybody in the coffee shop knows what's happening out here. The police are here with a warrant. Okay? When the police finally walk through that door, they won't even know that the white lights have been switched on, because as far as they're concerned, they'll probably think they were already on. If somebody opens this door and the coffee shop's the other side of it, anyone else out here will be able to see the coffee shop. So we decided to build an airlock.
We have police officers here, council officers, local authority councillors, we have doctors, estate agents. This is not full of druggies, this is full of ordinary people, hence the necessity for these people to actually tell us they're coming. It'd be too